Hello, this is Ian, and this is Ian's POV. Okay, picture the right way round. Right mic's on. Tommy Robinson has got another rally in the centre of London today. They're all meeting in Parliament Square. They're forecasting now hundreds of thousands of people to be there. It started off of tens of thousands. And then Starmer came out and banned foreign journalists from coming to England to report what he thought was on the Tommy Robinson rally. Unfortunately, Starmer has been caught out, and the Home Office. An Australian working for Rebel News was banned from coming to England this weekend. Not conducive to the public good, the note said. He said, I hadn't even planned to come. Even Glenn Beck on Friday interviewed Tommy Robinson on the internet, on Skype or something, and said he'd been banned from coming to London on Saturday and he hadn't even planned to be here. Ezra, the Rebel News anchor, leader, CEO, he's been banned as well. And he had no plans of coming over. But he is taking Starmer and the British government to court. So that's something to watch over the next couple of months. Where does Starmer and the Home Office get off banning people to stop free speech? This is tyranny. This is tyranny of this Labour government. I keep talking about the right of free speech and debate. That's Article 9 of the Bill of Rights. It's our constitutional right. And these people that have been banned are coming from the Commonwealth. They are also under our constitutional rights and liberties. Canada and Australia. I don't know about America, but they got their own Bill of Rights. But to ban a celebrated journalist, veteran of Fox News, from coming to Britain to report on a Tommy Robinson rally that he's not even planning to come to is absolutely crazy. The government have created these headlines. The government have put out the propaganda that these people are far right and they're not conducive to public good and they're far right. I wouldn't call Glenn Beck far right. Right wing, maybe. He was involved with the Tea Party, I think. But he's not far right. I don't think anybody in Tommy Robinson's circle is far right. They're like me. Ordinary Englishmen. Scotsman, Northern Ireland and Welsh. Ordinary people. Working, some retired. They want our country back. They're fed up of the tyranny. They're fed up of the grooming gangs. They're fed up of the boat people coming in, getting paid and free accommodation from our taxes. This is what they're against. I'm against it too. Tommy Robinson might be a bit brash, But listen to what Tommy Robinson says. I distanced myself from Tommy Robinson to start with, because I was trying to get in with reform. And then I listened to what Tommy Robinson said. Being a journalist, I put my journalist hat on and listened to what he said and try and report what he said. And he's saying the same things I'm thinking. He's complaining about the grooming gangs. The only thing I did was I didn't call them Pakistani Muslims. I said, I don't care about the colour of their skin. I don't care what church they go to. They are paedophile grooming gangs, which was my thing, was to stop paedophilia. I was a youth worker for 10 years. Did all the training, never came across it. 10 years of youth work, I never came across it. Did all the training for it, what to look for. And it never happened. When Tommy Robinson was screaming and shouting about the grooming gangs, I was with him. That's when I started to listen and understand what he was trying to do. He's been put in prison, not for what he said, but he did a video that was put on X. It was banned by the British government for being divisive, because he was pointing out that most of the grooming gangs were Asian men. If he's telling the truth, why should he be banned? So they banned the video. He put the video on X so it was available all over the world. But because it was available in Britain, they took him to court and got him going against the court ruling. So they put him in court for going against what the court ruling was. Not for the video, not for what he said. So he's done 2 years inside. He came out early because they took the video off of YouTube, but most of us had seen it by then anyway. So it had done its job. But he hasn't gone quietly. If anything, it's given him more ammunition and more fight to keep going. So he had this little rally organised in London. It was going to be on the Dan Wootton Show and other YouTube channels. And they were thinking about 10,000, 20,000 people. That's it. This Saturday. In the week, Starmer bans all these journalists that weren't even planning to come anyway. So now it's gone up to 100,000. Starmer, instead of quashing the rally, has actually promoted it. How crazy can you get? And calling them far right, that is an insult. They're ordinary working people like me. They're not the upper class, not the middle class. They're just ordinary working people. They've had enough. Their children now can't get homes. You know, they built all these starter homes. We got them in the village here. And they're being run by housing associations. The housing associations have been told to take the illegal migrants. So the government are paying the rent to these housing associations, which is our taxes, mind you, to house all these illegal immigrants. And they're spreading them out over the country so they're not all in one place. Trying to get them out of these hotels that are having all these demonstrations. Like the Pink Ladies. I support the Pink Ladies. They're doing the right thing. What a country we've got. We have not got a closed border. We are not policing our border. We just let them in, take the details, put them in a hotel and pay them. What do they get? £57 a week? Plus free Wi-Fi, plus free phone, plus bus fares if they get a job working for Deliveroo. They showed photographs of London, of the hotel they were staying in London. And the police were escorting the illegals out of the hotels with Deliveroo boxes on their backs, getting on their push bikes and mopeds and driving off. If they're illegal, they haven't got a license to work in this country, so why are the police protecting them? It's all ass-face. It's all upside down. It's all topsy-turvy. We want the law brought back. We want to be a Christian country. We want our rights and freedoms upheld. We have a constitution, we have a Bill of Rights, which they ignore. Oh, Starmer's a human rights lawyer. No, he ain't. He's an opportunist. He's a communist. Now, remember, people would say that the Nazi Party was a far-right organisation. I would put Starmer in that category. He's a dictator, or trying to be a dictator. As Prime Minister, he thinks he's got the divine right of a king. It's what Blair used to go to war in Iraq. He said he had the divine right of the crown. Well, that divine right of the crown was taken away from the king in 1688 with the Bill of Rights. Our constitution isn't a constitutional document on its own. It's a number of documents, a number of acts of parliament. Starts off with the Magna Carta of 1215. We got the Magna Carta of 1216, which is normally overlooked. Now, my history's telling me that the Magna Carta of 1215 was repealed. So they brought in the Magna Carta of 1216, which was a little bit more liberal. Not so widespread, but it was all pointing out what our liberties were. Then they reaffirmed the Magna Carta in 1297. Between that time, they'd also banned selling slaves out of the country. They didn't ban slavery, they just banned people selling their slaves to foreign countries. That was under William the Conqueror, and it's in a list of rules that he had. But that was prior to 1215. 1215 was done because of the tyranny of King John. King John was trying to fight wars in France and was taxing the people and taking loads of taxes off the people. And they didn't like it. They stood up, they met him at Runnymede and made him sign the document. They said it was done under a duress, therefore it was repealed, and then we got the Magna Carta of 1216. However, reading documents since, Parliament was repealing parts of the Magna Carta 1215 in the end of the 1700s, beginning of the 1800s, when they were doing the Enclosure Acts. Work that out. So 1 minute it's repealed, and the next minute they're repealing it. And they're repealing sections of it. The official thing is that when you get the Magna Carta up, there's stars and crosses and all sorts on it. And there's only a few articles within the original Magna Carta of 1215 that are still on the statute book, as far as I understand. But we still have the Magna Carta of 1216. Then you've got the reaffirmation of the Magna Carta in 1297. Then 1354, liberties of the subjects, was what started the profession of lawyers off, solicitors and lawyers. That was where we get the phrase due process of law from. One of the acts between around 1454 or something, 1445, I can't remember, talked about rights and freedoms and justice for all. It's all written down in our constitutional laws. But they forget about this. They don't tell you about this. So then we had the tyranny of a Catholic Church king. His name was King James II. He became a Catholic. He wouldn't allow Protestants to hold government office. They all had to be Catholic. We didn't like that. As a Somerset lad, I was brought up on the Monmouth Rebellion. It was called the Pitchfork Rebellion. In 1885, the English folk met the Royalists on Sedgemoor, and we lost the battle. And they scattered. And then the Royalists went round all the villages to try and pick the rebels up. They went to the assizes in Exeter, and they had the hanging judge, Judge Jeffreys. They were told, if they plead guilty, he will be lenient. So the first one stood up and said, guilty, Your Honour. Right, hang the lot of them. And that was it. That's why he was called the hanging judge. And he presided in the assizes in Bristol and in Exeter. And they hung the rebels. My local church in Tickenham has a musket ball hole in it, a dent in its oak door. And it is the size of a musket ball. Just over a half inch it is, 600 thou. English musket ball. A rebel was supposed to have held up in the church, and the king's men came and fired at the door, and the priest wouldn't open the door. I don't know what happened after that. That's much of the story as I've been told. But we'd had enough. The Protestants rose up. But it's Catholic and Protestants today in the rally in London, standing up for our rights and liberties. The hierarchy, the barons in London, invited the Prince of Orange and Mary. Now, Mary was James II's daughter, so she had a right to the throne. They brought over, they came to Brixham. They came all the way up what is now the 303 and headed to London. Before they got to London, King James II disappeared up to Scotland. So we had a glorious revolution. It was bloodless. To start with, we had a Declaration of Rights, thought to be helped by John Locke. And then we had the Bill of Rights. And the Bill of Rights was in two parts. First part explained everything that was wrong. The second part explained everything that was going to happen. They took the power from the crown, the divine right of kings. They put it in the hands of the commons and the lords. We had constitutional monarchy then. That's where it started from. Gave us the right of free speech and free speech in Parliament. gave us the right to hold arms, but we don't talk about that. But it's there. That's why the police can be armed today and they're not an army. To have a standing army in the country was frowned on. The army is there to protect the country, not the people. So it's all there. And then we had the Act of Session in 1700. And in the last paragraph of that, it says, the laws of England are the birthright of the people. And I rest my case. Tommy Robinson, I think you're a great guy. I think everybody should support you. And if you want to see what's going on, Dan Wootton, Outspoken, on YouTube, live all day at the rally. Ian, bye-bye.